Now it's time to move on to lookalike audiences. And these are sort of one step upwards from custom audiences, one step slightly more advanced than custom audiences. And these are some of my favorite audiences that I tend to get my best results with. So before we begin and delve into lookalike audiences in detail, let's just cover what actually is a lookalike audience. So let me explain. A lookalike audience is often referred to by people in Facebook groups and forums, etc., as an LAA or an LLA. Now, these abbreviations, they're different, but they mean exactly the same thing. They refer to lookalike audience. If someone's talking about a lookalike audience, they will say an LAA or an LLA. They're built using data from existing audiences, so you can't just go ahead and create a lookalike audience from thin air like you can an interest-based audience. You have to have prior data to build from. And that's because lookalike audiences are built and are created as a similar audience to someone else you already have data on. You can't just build a lookalike audience from scratch. You have to have a source. And these are our sources for lookalike audiences. You can use custom audiences, which you've already learned can be built themselves from multiple different sources, or from Facebook pages that you own or operate. But what is a lookalike audience? Facebook uses the information that they have on people in the audience you select as a source. So if we go back, Facebook uses the information and the data they have gathered from the people in either your custom audience or the people on or who have interacted with your Facebook page. They use that information they aggregate this data and they use their information and their technology to build new lists of people, new audiences who have shared characteristics with your source audience. So what I'm saying is they will take your source, they will take your custom audience or your Facebook page audience, and they will look at the characteristics, they'll aggregate this audience, and they'll look at the people in this, and they will take the characteristics, and they will then go ahead and find other people on Facebook with similar shared characteristics as your source audience. Now, these characteristics can be age, gender, location, behavior, interests, and other things too. And they're sort of a clone of your previous audience. They're sort of a clone of your custom audience, or they're a clone of the people who've interacted with or who have liked your page. They're not a perfect, exact clone, so they're an imperfect clone. They're very similar, but they're not quite the same. And what do percentages mean? You'll see in this section that lookalikes can be 1%, 2%, and up to 10%. And they also have abbreviations such as US, GB, DE, FR, etc. And right now this means nothing to you. So let me explain what both the percentages and abbreviations refer to and mean. Abbreviations are very easy. These are basically the country that you create your lookalike audience from, or in rather. So when you're creating a lookalike audience, you have to select at least one location, one country, or trade region. Now, once you've selected this country, it will be referred to using an abbreviation, and that is what these abbreviations are. They just refer to the country that you're using in your lookalike audience. The percentages refer to the audience size in relation to the total population in the country you choose. So let's say we chose US, then the percentage of that audience, be it 1%, 2%, 3 to 5%, would refer to the population size in relation to the total population of the US. And the smaller the percentage, the closer the lookalike audience is to your source audience. So for example, a 1% LAA is more similar to your source audience than a 2% LAA. So the larger the percentage, the more imperfect the clone. The 1% is the people that Facebook believes are most similar, most like your source audience provided. And the further you go upwards to 10%, the less similar they become. And if you're still confused, don't worry, this section will show you everything in real time, from creating audiences to using audiences. And I will go through in a lot more detail over the shoulder with lookalike audiences. And by the end of the section, you'll be confident with your knowledge of lookalike audiences. You'll know how they work, you'll know how to create them, and you'll know what they are. So if you're ready to begin, let's get started. So to create a lookalike audience, you simply click Create Audience, Lookalike Audience, and then you select a source. Now, the source has to be a custom audience or a page. So while I've said previously, you can create lookalike audiences from email lists, that's not strictly true. You first have to create a custom audience from that email list and then create a lookalike audience from that custom audience. For example, we can create a lookalike audience from this source, the Durham Freshers Guide emails. But actually, as you can see here, Durham Freshers Guide emails is not an email list at all. It's a custom audience of the people in this email list. And as you can see here, if I type in the name of a page that I may want to use, Rinse Durham, from my old event work, as I said, it now shows that this one is a page source. So they're the two sources you can use, and that is how to select a source. You can either type it in, or you can just use the drop down. Alternatively, you can actually create a new source here by clicking Create New, and you can create a new custom audience here, or even a custom audience with LTV, which stands for lifetime value, that allows for value-based lookalikes. I haven't yet used these, so I'm not going to teach these in the course. I may add a couple of videos on these in a couple of months' time once I've had time to test them out. So now that you know how to select a source for a lookalike audience, we're going to show you how to create a lookalike audience from a page source. So I'm going to type in Rinse Durham again. So I'm just going to select Rinse Durham. It is a page, as it says here. The location, I'm going to use UK. I just want a lookalike audience of people in the UK because this is a UK based event. And I'll go through these, what this means and the advanced options in a couple more videos time. But for now, you just need to know this is how you select a page source as a basis of a lookalike audience. You just type in the name of the page and select it from the drop down that appears. You do have to be an admin of the page, I should note. You can't just select any page on Facebook. You have to own that page, and you have to have built that page, or you have to own the custom audience. You can't just use someone else's custom audience. But once you're done, click Create Audience. And as you can see, it's just updating now, and it shows here the type is a lookalike and the source in grey is a page, Rinse Durham. So we're back in the Rinse Durham account, and we're going to use one of these custom audiences to create a lookalike audience. So this is how you create a lookalike audience using a custom audience as the basis. Click lookalike audience, then you're just going to click on here to get a drop down of all possible sources you have, or you're just going to type in the name of the custom audience. So here we have the Durham Freshers Guide emails, and as you can see, it's a custom audience. The grey text here tells you what type of source this is, so whether it's a page or a custom audience. And as I said, we're going to use this custom audience. It doesn't matter whether the custom audience has been made from page engagement, or whether it's been made from website activity, or whether it's been made from a file upload. They're all just classed when it comes to creating a lookalike audience. They are all just classed and come under the same custom audience category. It doesn't matter what type of custom audience it is, it's just a custom audience. And now you're going to select your regions to target. Now for me, this would be England or United Kingdom. So just type it in, and then you get the audience size here and the percentage, the lookalike percentage. And as you can see, it would be called Lookalike GB1 Durham Freshers Guide emails. So basically you've got the type of audience, it's a lookalike audience, the location, the percentage lookalike, and the source, and then the estimated reach. You can go worldwide, but you cannot actually click worldwide. You have to add in the multiple countries. So say if I'm running an e-commerce website that ships to these 4 countries, I have to type them in separately. And as you can see, it changes correspondingly here. AU, CA, and 2 others, that would be GB and US. Durham Freshers Guide emails, and we've got just under 3 million people. You can also check out regions here if you haven't already. You can look at free trade areas, app store regions. So if you're promoting an iPhone app or an Android app, you're only going to want to use, the paid store or the free store or the iTunes App Store countries. It basically is a collection of countries. It means that you don't have to research it yourself and then come into countries and add them all in. What Facebook has done for you is created these groups where you can just click and it will add them all in. 231 countries, as you can see here. You've got emerging markets and also the Euro area. Now, I'm not sure if the Euro area will show up for people that aren't in the Euro area, but I'd be interested to hear whether they still show up for you. So that's great. So now you know how to create a lookalike audience from a custom audience as a source. You also know how to select countries, multiple countries, and even you can have a look at the regions you can use too. Just quickly, I'll show you how to create multiple lookalikes from one single custom audience in just a few extra clicks. And also you can quickly go to create audiences, lookalike audiences from custom audiences by just ticking the box next to the custom audience, go into actions and clicking create lookalike. So I'm going to go UK again, and all you do is click show advanced options, and you're able to change the different sizes, the different percents of audiences. We've got 1% here, that's one audience, one lookalike audience. We've got up between 1% and 2% is another audience, and between 2% and 5% is another audience. And as you can see, we have 3 audiences here, and they're all named correspondingly, and the reaches are all shown as well. Now, I think 1.2 mil is slightly too much, so I can change this by just clicking and dragging. And you can even create up to 6 audiences. I've clicked 5. You can click up to 6. So we have 5 separate audiences here. So we have 1%, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5. Now these are really good to test because I actually don't get the best results from my 1% audiences. I get my best results on my 2 to 3% audiences. It's very strange. You wouldn't expect that really. Just looking at this, logic would suggest that your 1% is going to perform the best and your 4 to 5% would perform the worst because they're the least like your custom audience. But you just have to test these things to work out what's going to work for you. So that's how to create multiple lookalike audiences from one single source. Just a few extra clicks is all it takes. And then you click create audience. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Updating the audiences now. Another way to do this is by putting in all your different countries. So rather than creating one for the UK and coming back and creating another for the US and doing separate lookalikes for every single different country you have, what you can do is just put in every single country you want lookalikes from. Creating the lookalikes, And then when it comes to actually using this lookalike audience in an ad set, you simply use the location setting in the ad set to constrain the lookalike audience. So if I click, for example, once this lookalike's ready, I'll show you what I mean. So we now have lookalikes. This one, for example, we have a lookalike audience that covers people in 4 separate countries. Now, all you would do here is create 4 different ad sets. You would use this lookalike audience in each ad set, but then you would change the location of the ad set to each one of these. So you have 4 ad sets, one to AU, one to CA, one to UK, one to US. Okay, if you run video views ads, or in fact if you have ever posted a video to a Facebook page, be it an ad and paying to reach people, or just posting it off one of your Facebook pages without boosting it and just getting organic video views, you can use those people who viewed that video as a basis for a lookalike audience. And this is another really good audience to test, similar to the audiences I pointed out, created from past purchases and past repeat customers. The video views audiences are often really good in terms of cost per acquisition, cost per purchase, cost per click. So to create a lookalike audience from people who've viewed videos, obviously you have to have had video views. I have had video views, 7,000 of them from this ad. So what I'm going to do is go over to my assets, audiences. I'm going to create a lookalike audience. In fact, I'm going to create a custom audience first. Engagement on Facebook. I'm going to click video. And here you select whether you're going to create it from people who viewed 3 seconds of a video, 10 seconds, or a percentage. Now obviously 95% is going to be the one where people are incredibly engaged. I'm going to go with 75% in the past 365 days. I'm also going to choose my videos here. So you select your video through the page. So I'm going with Mermaids Are Awesome. And I'm going to go with this. Create audience. Now this is just populating, and then once it's populated, we'll create a lookalike audience. You know how to do that now. Click create audience and you just type in the name of the custom audience we want to use, and then you'll create the audience, and that will be a lookalike audience using 75% video views, custom audience as a source. So these people in this lookalike audience that we're going to make are going to be likely to be very interested in what we have to say, likely to be interested in watching our videos, checking out our website, because they're very similar to the people that have viewed 75% of these videos that I've selected whilst creating this custom audience. So I created the custom audience yesterday at 1:15. It's now 10:38 on Saturday, 10:38 AM, and I've just checked this. I want to do some more work on the course, and as you can see, it's ready. So let's create our lookalike audience using this custom audience from video engaged people, people who've watched 75% of this video, or these videos. Let's use these as a source for our lookalike audience. So you can either click the drop down and click lookalike audience, or quickly tick the box, actions, create lookalike. So it's given us the source already because we ticked the box, and we're going to go United States. show advanced options. We're going to go with 5 different audiences. There we go. Create audience. So that is my lookalikes. So they're going to take a while to process, but once they're processed, I'm going to show you in a couple of sections time, very soon actually in this course, how to actually use custom audiences and lookalike audiences in your advertising. So you know how to create them now. You've been given a lot of different sources for both custom audiences and lookalike audiences, a lot of different ideas for you to test out and consider. So now that you know how to create them, we're going to learn how to use them.